Welcome back. We are now in step 11.3, which is all about navigating application windows. Let's go ahead and open up a Microsoft Word document. A couple different ways. Remember, from step 1 you learned how to do it. I'll just go to my Start menu and use my most frequently used programs to click on Microsoft Word, and it brings me to a blank document. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is this little blinky thing right here. This is called the insertion point, which people also refer to it as a cursor. So this blinking vertical line basically indicates where or what the location is where you will add text or data to be entered. So of course the insertion point is here, and if I click a letter, I that's where my letters appear. If I double click down to the middle of my screen, my insertion point is blinking there. That's where my data ends up. So remember, this is called the insertion point, which is the blinking thing. Now, notice as I move my mouse around, the insertion point does not move, but this thing that looks like a capitalized I moves on my screen. That is called an I-beam. An I-beam. Don't confuse your insertion point with your I-beam. Your insertion point, remember, is the destination where your text or data will be entered, and then the I-beam navigates where your insertion point will end up. So if I double click here with my I-beam, my insertion point moves. So that is the difference between an I-beam and an insertion point. Alright, so we now have our Word document open, and we're going to go over here to this side, and notice we have the three buttons here. This is the minimize button, and notice when I click on my minimize, it restores down my Word document. It doesn't close it, it simply restores it down. So if I move my mouse over my taskbar, the Word document there, to open it back up, it brings it back up. So this simply restores it, minimizes it down, but doesn't close it. And then the restore button does exactly that. It restores it to a smaller size. And then we learned about the close button in the last document. So press enter 5 times. And notice that every time you press enter, your insertion point moves down on your page. Type your last name. I want to make mine big so you can see it. And notice that when you typed your last name again, it entered it where the insertion point was last entered down to. Look on your keyboard and find your page up key and press your page up key. So notice when you press the page up key, the insertion point moves back up to the top of the document window. Now press page down. And notice when you press page down, it moved down close to where you entered your name. Find the up arrow on your keyboard. The 4 arrows on your keyboard, you're going to use the up arrow and press the up arrow key 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And notice that when you press the up arrow key, your name remained intact, but your insertion point moved. So that's how you navigate within your document with your insertion point. You can use page up, page down, as well as your arrow keys. Notice over here you have a scroll bar. This is called your vertical scroll bar. It allows you to scroll up and down your document. And then you have the space bar. First, we need to find our insertion point. There it is. And notice that when you press the space bar allows you to move your insertion point to the right of your screen. So type your first name, space, and then your last name, and space. Alright, so in this step we learned about the insertion point, the I-beam, using your page up, page down on your keyboard, your arrow key, your space bar, as well as your vertical scroll. So this concludes this step. We will stop here and pick up on step 4. Go to your File tab and exit out of this document. It will always ask you if you want to save the document. This time we will click Don't Save. See you on the next step.